So it's been a while since I've broke out the camera and sat in front of it and actually talked to it and make a original video. I think it's been a month or two. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't been keeping count. But I feel that right now is a good time to make something. I may or may not be back from my hiatus, but I can tell you this much. It was well worth it. During my absence, I've taken a really good look at myself. And by myself, I mean how I've portrayed myself on my YouTube channel. Specifically, the character of Jezter. In the beginning, I was just finding a way to express my atheism. And that was to go out and find Christian videos which I found offensive and basically retorting back at them. I don't feel remorse for the people I've chosen as my victims, but I do see my technique as very juvenile. That's why, as you see when I go to new masks, there's a certain change to the character. Maybe he's more obscene, or maybe he's more sincere, maybe he's more intellectual than he is insulting. The character of Jezter changes as I do. It's like he evolves with me, which would make sense because he is the avatar for my thoughts and opinions. And as I began to make these observations about Jezter, I began to realize that Jezter is pretty much me. I know that some people are saying, duh, but I never realized the significance of that statement until I left YouTube and actually took a close look at the character. And that's when I realized that I have done what so many theists have done. They have externalized their ego into this imaginary friend, and this imaginary friend becomes their god. I've done the same thing with my ego. I've externalized it to an imaginary force. I don't call it God. I call it Jezter. And realizing that Jezter is just an externalization of my ego, I realize that it is just me. Jezter has become something that I would define as my satanic self. He laughs in the face of the righteous. He judges the wicked and enlightens the masses. And he questions the status quo, which are pretty much my characteristics. Pretty much the characteristics of any other typical Satanist. Sometimes I wonder if by expressing this I expose myself as being a schizophrenic or some madman, and maybe I'm losing my sanity. I just find it interesting that the moment that I rejected God, that I stopped trying to understand God. Instead, I started to try and understand myself. And to do that, I had to externalize my characteristics into a fantasy character or an imaginary force in order for me to make observations on this character, because I feel that Jezter shares a lot of my thoughts and feelings. And as Jezter becomes more three-dimensional, I begin to understand myself more. So maybe I'm not crazy after all. Let me know your thoughts.